chapter 4.2, and it's about demand. What is demand? Demand is the desire to own something and the ability to pay for it. So you may want to go to Alaska, but if you can't afford to go to Alaska, it's not a demand. You don't demand it. The law of demand: when a good's price is lower, consumers will buy more of it. When the price is higher, consumers will buy less of it. The book uses pizza as an example. So if pizza is $1, you're going to buy more of it. If it's $3, you're going to buy less of it. And if it's $5, you're going to buy even less of it. A real world example. So for a medium pizza at Pizza Hut, it's $12. At Sam & Louie's, it's about $16. And for like in Little Italy, it's going to be about $32. So you're going to buy more pizza if you go to Pizza Hut, and a lot less if you go to Little Italy. The substitution effect. So if a pizza costs $12, you're going to want to buy a salad or a taco instead. And the stuff in parentheses follows your review worksheet. This is a comic that kind of goes along with it. So gas is really expensive, so he makes a bike. This is an example of the substitution effect. It's not the best example, but when you were little, you may have begged for a puppy. And your mom was more likely to get you one of the free puppies that your neighbor was giving away than the $1,800 dog that you wanted. The income effect. The change in consumption that results when a price increase causes real income to decline. The more something costs, the less of it you will buy. And the less something costs, the more of it you will buy. Again, following the example of pizza. A demand schedule is a table that lists the quantity of a good that a person will purchase at various prices in a market. And there's two types. There's individual demand schedule and market demand schedule. So So this is an individual demand schedule. And it can be anybody's schedule. So let's say this person is Susie. And for a pizza at $1, maybe she wouldn't buy any of it because she doesn't think that it would be any good. At $2, she'd buy 2 slices. At $3, she'd buy 1 slice. Or maybe for another person, they buy 5, 4 at $2, 3 at $3, 2 at $4, and 1 at $5. And for a market demand schedule, maybe there'd be 350 slices of pizza sold in a day, 200, 150. 25. So they can vary pretty significantly, but they all have one thing in common, which is the cheaper it is, the more is going to be bought. A demand schedule is a table that lists quantity of a good that a person will purchase at various prices in the market, which is what I just showed you. A demand curve is a graphic representation of that. So it's just a graph. So it's gonna go downward. It's a downward slope because you're gonna buy more of it if it's cheaper, which is not that hard of a concept because, I mean, you do that every day. when you go to lunch, if you go to McDonald's and you go to the dollar menu, you're gonna buy more food than if you went to, again, like Sam and Louise, and you'd have to spend more money on less food. And that's all.
All right, so, nice job, Abby. Well done. All right, now I'm going to explain just a little bit more in depth into your demand schedule, okay, and then your demand chart, as well as your income effect and substitution effect. So if you turn to page 87, you're going to have a chart, okay? That chart might be helpful for maybe a quiz, all right? So that being said, the income and substitution effect, all right, are going to have certain, it controls your buying pretty much, all right? So when you don't have money, you consume less. This is called the income effect, all right? So if price of A increases in the income effect, you're automatically going to buy less of it, okay? That's just the law of demand. So you're gonna have law of demand on one side versus like the effect itself, all right? So the substitution effect says, okay, we all have substitutes. A substitute for hamburger might be a hot dog, okay? Sometimes we base whatever our decision is based off of the price just alone, okay? So if you go to a ballpark, maybe the steak nachos that you really desire, but the ability to buy them isn't there because steak nachos at a ballpark are extremely expensive because they inflate prices regardless. So if we look at it that way, it's $15 for a steak nachos. And the hot dog is sitting there at $6, right? Those are substitutions. Those both fill us up. Okay, all right, so they're both options on a menu, but because of your income, all right, you can't buy more of that. Okay, you can't, but you won't buy that, all right, based off of it. Now, the substitution effect says that I'm not going to eat steak nachos just due to the fact that they are too expensive. All right, I'm going to substitute it with a hot dog, okay? And as the price rises for some, our buying power in the income effects becomes less, all right? So if gas rises in price, and I have to go to the pump, and I'm usually paying for my truck around $60 to fill it, and if it goes up another 10 cents, I lose money, actual money in my pocket, which gives me less buying power elsewhere. So basically, in general, if prices rise around us, the income effect says that you are going to buy less of things. Now, let's say that gas goes down to $1. Okay, so back in about 2010, gas was actually just around $1, if you can imagine that, right? It was actually in 2008 around $4 a gallon. So in a matter of 2 years, gas went from $4 all the way down to $1. The actual lowest price in the nation was in Chicago, where there were two companies on opposite sides of a highway that actually were they kept fighting back and forth, and it actually got to 99 cents for one of them. So actually Shattern was another one that got to 99 cents, if you can't believe it. Shattern, Nebraska. So it was Big Bats that got it. So now if I can go and I can get a gallon of gas for $1, right? That's great. I could fill my 25-gallon tank for $25. All right, and in 2010, you could actually do that. All right, so if you had a 15-gallon tank, $15. What do you think you would have a lot more money to spend? All right, so this is the income effect. Basically saying that now that I can only have to spend this amount of money for gas, I have a lot more money to spend on whatever other things, all right? Now, there really is no substitute for gas, right? So we're kind of forced to buy gas unless you want to ride a bike, ride public transit, okay, which is again being majorly pushed in cities, all right, is to get on your bike, take the public transit, don't buy any more cars. Cars give off emissions, things like that, so there are more eco-friendly ways of travel. However, the convenience of a car and the convenience of gas obviously is there. So the substitution effect based off of demand. You're just basing this off demand. None of supply has come in yet. Supply will be talked to you guys about in chapter 5. Just says as the price goes up, the demand goes down. Or we find substitutes. But with gas, it's an interesting one, right? Who all buys gas in here? Everyone, right? And like, do you have to save for gas? Do you buy your own gas?
I buy my own gas.
Good. Do you have to budget for it?
No.
No.
I just fill it when I get paid.
Okay. Okay. All right. So yes, you kind of do budget. I mean, you say I worked 5 hours. Now I can spend $50 in gas, right? Because you guys usually get paid around $10, right?
I think I'm making $10
Well,
an hour.
I hope so. You know, $9 to $10. Usually around
I'm making
here.
around 0.
You rank around 0 just because you don't have a job. There's a lot going on. Am I right?
Making $12.
Okay, so $12 over here. So we got the big shot who doesn't have to budget for gas. Making the extra $2 on top of everybody else. All right. So again, you guys, your buying power in the income effect just goes down when prices are high. Real easy concept. The substitution effect just says if the price of A is simply too high, you will find other options. Okay. All right. And then you use this nice little supply and demand graph, or just demand right now graph, to explain different variations in price points and quantity demanded. If you want to take it at a market level, you take how many people come, let's say Abby was using pizza, so let's stick with pizza. If you know that you have an average, and you should always do this in a business, especially in a food business, how many potential customers do you have a day? Okay, you should always look at probably what product is being bought the most and the least, and you should probably then adjust your supply of those goods in food if you are not selling so much of the spinach salad pizza that is an option, which I don't understand why people go to a pizza joint and order a mozzarella spinach. So I don't get it. Right? I'm a kind of a combo guy who likes a lot of meats on my pizzas.
Meats and
All right?
grease.
Meats and grease. All right, add some more grease and I'll be good. All right, so if you just wanted to say, well, there's around 100 people that come into my pizzeria a day, just add a couple of zeros, okay? And then if you again take a slice of pizza, which those of you guys that are going to New York or have been to New York, they sell it by the slice. Okay, they do. They have a variety, huge variety of different types of pizzas.
No, by the slice.
By the slice.
No, you
Slice,
something
nope.
and you make a piece.
Nope, they call it a slice. Okay, so you say I'll have 6 slices.
That cannot be grammatically correct.
It can't,
you
because New
slice
Yorkers
something
throw
to make a
grammar out as soon as they're born. All right, they have 0 grammar, Zach. All right, so I'm just gonna go out. Sorry, New Yorkers, if you do happen to watch this, you have very terrible grammar. All right, so they call it slice. I will have 6 slices of pizza.
You
I don't need
slice
6
something
pieces.
and make a
Okay,
piece.
I don't order 6 pieces of pizza.
Yeah, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
Slices.
It's a piece.
They say it's sold by the slice because it sounds cool on your tongue, but you say, I'll have 5 pieces of pizza.
It's a piece.
I don't say 5 pieces of pizza.
Conversation.
You slice
All right,
something
you're gonna
into
edit all this
a
out.
piece.
All right, so 5-1 or 4-1. Sorry. Up to critical thinking.
No, it's a piece.
1 through 7. So on page 90, go ahead and do 1 through 7. Work on your reviews and then your vocab.